Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha. Today I'm having steak, brown rice, and broccoli. Breakfast of champions right here. Pretty bro-tastic. But people have noticed more and more my fat loss continuing, while I continue to put up big numbers. So clearly bro dieting works, provided you're in a calorie deficit. And that's kind of the idea. But let's get over and let's talk about recovery. Let's talk about deloads. Because that's really something I've pushed more and more on my channel, is the whole idea of recovery. And the idea that you don't grow from what you do in the gym, you grow from what you recover from. And so we spend a lot of time discussing nutrition, a lot of time discussing sleep, things like that, fatigue management, and deloads fall into that category. And here's the thing that I find interesting as a coach. The more people I coach, on average, I figure I have about 25 clients year round, on average. At this point, just since I've been doing coaching through my channel, I have at least 70 former clients. People who I coached a month or longer. A lot of them I coached a year or longer. And I've noticed a lot of patterns. A lot of patterns. And this is just, these newer clients in the last few years, not people I coached in the past. The need for deloads varies from person to person. So when someone comes and says, "Hey Jason, how often should I deload?" I think if we listen to this video, you'll understand how ridiculous of a question that is. How utterly ludicrous. For example, I have a client who I have had, and I assume I'll still have him at this time, the time of this video. I've had him about 2.5 years. He's a high 400 squatter, mid 500s deadlifter, has been training, I believe, around 12 years. He's lean, he's jacked, he's drug-free. Okay, so we would look at a lot of the variables and say, oh, this is a guy who might need to deload often. He has no drugs. He doesn't carry a lot of extra body fat, doesn't really bulk. Visible abs year-round. Has a six-pack year-round. For those of you who follow some of my Facebook, it's Justin. You guys, some of you know who he is. I've run him on conjugate and 5-3-1 both. In that 2.5 years' time, how often do you think he's deloaded? 0. We've not done a single deload week. Yet, every few months, every 6 months, 3 months, he hits a PR on a big lift and just keeps getting better. Put 80 pounds on his squat in that time. No deloading, no bulking. We haven't really bulked. His training volumes are higher than average compared to my other clients. Okay, so you look at all these variables, and if you take genetics and work capacity aside, everything else says that this guy should need to deload pretty often. Very advanced numbers, low body fat, not bulking, high training volumes, no drugs. Okay, yet he doesn't seem to need deloads. We adjust his training volume a little when things start to get inflamed slightly. I've had other lifters who are smaller and weaker, who have a strength base. I've had at least one who done 2 powerlifting meets. He's an intermediate. Three to 4 weeks of hard training, and this guy starts getting back cramps, back spasms, pain, inflammation. If I take this guy up to about 15 sets of muscle group per week, Justin stays 15 to 20 year round. If I take this guy past about 10 sets for muscle per week, within 3 to 4 weeks, he starts showing actual signs, early signs of overtraining, like physical signs. He has to deload every 4 weeks. He can't handle ultra high volumes, not that strong. Now, granted, I can't get him to eat the way that he needs to, but he's not ripped either. Okay, same thing people say, what about your 5'3" novices? I have 4 of them right now. 4 of them. Some of them need to deload, some do not. One of them is like this other guy. How often do you think he deloads? Every 4 weeks. We've realized he has to deload every 4 weeks. He gains strength slower than my other novices, needs to deload more often. Every 4th week he deloads. He has to. Same token, you compare Justin to one of my other really advanced guys, guy with a 505 squat, less than 200 pounds, 505 squat, 565 deadlift, 320 bench. He has to deload every 8 weeks. On conjugate, he runs conjugate. Every 8 weeks we deload. He starts getting hamstring cramps. He pulls hamstrings, he starts pulling adductors if we're not careful at that point. He has to deload. We rotate his volumes. I only take him up when he's bulking, sometimes for short phases, fast, about 15 sets a week. But he still has to deload. And a lot of times after we deload him, we reduce the volume and then we build his volume back up. Right? So here's the problem. When someone says, hey Jason, how often should I deload? I don't know. How often do you need to deload? I haven't coached you for 6 months. I have no idea. Right? I have no idea. So there we are. I mean, it's the problem we run into. People are different regarding deload needs, and here's what I'm going to say. If you're pushing pretty hard, you're training hard, you know what, and you want extra deloads, I don't think they're the end of the world. I don't see a problem with people deloading often. If you feel that you just need to deload every 6 weeks, every 4th week, whatever, do it. It's not like you're going to not gain muscle. Right? If you pushed hard and you PR'd it all during that time and you deloaded every 4th week, you're still going to gain muscle. You have a busy lifestyle, you might need it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.